Hi, I'm Steve Breen with Prosperion Financial Advisors. On October 9th, 1903, the New York Times wrote, "Human flight by a machine will occur between 1 and 10 million years from now." Coincidentally, on that day, Orville Wright wrote in his diary, "We started assembly today." 10 weeks later, the Wright Brothers flew. Well, the New York Times' mistaken prediction was prompted by a spectacular failure. You see, 2 days previously, the Smithsonian scientist Samuel Pierpoint Langley attempted to launch an aircraft from a modified houseboat on the Potomac River. Well, it fell to the water like a brick. After repeated efforts and modifications, he gave up on aviation altogether. It's estimated that Langley spent some $70,000, including $50,000 that was contributed by the U.S. government in the production of his prototype. The Wright brothers took off 9 days later, having invested a total of $1,000 of their own money, and that even included their travel costs from their home in Dayton, Ohio to Kitty Hawk. Langley was one of the most prestigious scientists of that time. The Wright brothers were high school graduates who ran a bicycle shop. Many lessons can be learned from this chapter in history, but 2 seem to stand out. First, when the government attempts to pick winners in the private sector, such as emerging technologies and innovations, the government tends to get it wrong. You see, individual initiative, even from the most untutored innovators, is responsible for innovations that vault the economy and even our quality of life into new, significantly better dimensions. There really seem to be 2 economies. One that's vibrant, entrepreneurial, risk-taking, and innovating. We call that the private economy, which is epitomized by everything from the Wright brothers to the Apple Watch. This is a world where incentives matter and where financial and human capital flow to the areas where we have superior return. It's a virtuous cycle. More innovation yields greater rewards, which encourages even more innovation. The other economy is that of the government that attempts to solve many of those same problems that entrepreneurs face, yet they use regulation, laws, taxes, borrowing, and redistribution as their tools. They often have unintended effects or consequences that hinder progress, not help it. One example, after the investment in Langley's flight experiment, the government refused to buy the Wright brothers' airplane on several occasions, which they had the opportunity. The government has a track record of falling behind the curve. They never act in anticipation, rather they react to what has happened. Yet we're told day in and day out about the next greatest solution that's being proposed by politicians on Capitol Hill. The ensuing bickering that receives way more airtime on the news networks than it actually deserves. Ultimately, it drowns out the ideas that are proposed by the private sector. That's one of the reasons why we encourage our clients to ignore the media, turn off the noise. We sort through the babble in an effort to find information that's meaningful and valuable to you. So many of our plans fall back on one simple principle: stay the course. It's our job to remind our clients of this every time the outlook gets rocky. That's why we at Prosperion listen. That's what we do. We develop personalized financial plan for every single client with an investment strategy that helps you to pursue your goals and objectives. Well, we're excited about the future. We're excited about the innovators that power our economy, our country, and will help to move our world forward. We welcome a conversation with you about your future. Thank you for being a client of Prosperion Financial Advisors. I'm Steve Breen.